Good evening. Hello, everybody. My name is Ray, and Ray Teo from IQI Canada, and I'm your host today. And I'm a senior ICI broker for IQI Juwai company. So today we are very lucky to have Mr. Joseph Wu, VP of Commercial Juwai IQI Canada, and he has been a commercial agent for a long time, and he is well known in GTA, in Greater Toronto area. For some people who doesn't know what GTA means, that is the Greater Toronto area, which is comprised of a few county and a few places that make as form as one GTA in Toronto area. So let's welcome Joseph. So would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi, everyone. First, Ray, thank you for having me in this live chat again. And so every time when I talk about, commercial real estate, and I don't know why, I just feel so exciting.
It's in your blood, Joseph.
Yeah.
That's why.
Just a lot of passions and really want to share lots of experience and knowledge that I have been accumulating in the past many years. And be honest with you, you know that the good experience all coming from the the good experience or good knowledge all coming from lots of bad experience, right? Lots of
That's how
failures.
you learn. Yeah, that's how you learn from mistake, right?
Yeah. So it's priceless. That's why if thank you for having me today. Maybe we have just so much time to share, but I would say that in order to make the whole sharing or whole live talk about commercial real estate not that boring, I would say that I would like to bring up one of the cases that I'm dealing with right now, and use that land, that property as a foundation or as a platform. Then we could have an opportunity to share with all the audiences, about the knowledge that when
Yeah.
come to this part.
Yes, I know. And a lot of agents in Toronto, if they know that you go live today and talk about land, I can assure you that they will be lining up, going into this uh, live things to see what you have to say. Because I was in your seminar, and I see the room is full of people, and I was in there, and everybody was squeezing in. You run out of chairs, and people are waiting to get in. And I was there. I have no even have a chance to go talk to you after your seminar. You didn't even notice that I was there. So being that, and I see, wow, Joseph is a well-known commercial guy in Toronto. So now we get this opportunity for you to explain the land that we have in our listing, right? IQI.
Yeah.
So that shows that IQI, we do a lot of commercial. We are involved in commercial pre-construction, resale homes as well, and we have lots of experienced people like Joseph and myself, and a few more good experienced senior agent that is in our system as well.
Yes.
So okay, yeah,
Yes.
Joseph, go ahead, and let's discuss about this land. So where is this land that you intend to show everybody?
Okay. Well, you know what? This land is located in Oakville. It's a very, very, how to say that, convenience and how to say that, it's in an urban area. But Ray and also all the audience, when Ray talking about people who came to my seminar, I would say that it's also my owners. that I get a chance, or I got many chances to share such an experience. And and we all know that, unfortunately, in the system, that people who want to know more about the commercial real estate, actually, they don't really have such a platforms or such an environment for them to learn. Because to be in the, you know, and I know, to be in the commercial real estate, time is a very, very important issue, which means that if you are not old enough, okay,
you mean matured enough, not old. I don't like the word old.
All right.
You are
Okay,
not matured enough.
Okay, I agree with you. If you are not mature enough, it's really difficult to have any connection with commercial real estate, right?
Right.
Because that really need people to to be involved, or we said to be soaked, right? In that area, in a very, very, we call focused way. And of course, you need to have lots of action. So today, I really want to share. All right, let's come back to the land. Okay, come back to the land. Ray and all the audience, you know that whenever we talk about the real estate, I always said that many times in all my trainings or seminars. I said, what is the mother? Hello. Hi, Yusuf. What is the mother?
Hello. Yeah.
Okay. What is the mother of the real estate? I know that mother of Ray is definitely Mrs. Chiu, right?
Oh,
the mother of Joseph definitely is Mrs. Wu. And what is mother of real estate? You know, I know. It's nothing else but land, right?
Yes.
Without lands, there's no real estate. Without lands, there's no place that we could put our we call real estate finished products. Are we going to build a castle in the cloud? No.
Right? You know what, Joseph? They're trying to get the moon, right? So you can buy spaces on the moon now.
But still need lands, right?
Yes.
Still need lands. So when come to commercial real estate, again, that we're talking about these materials for the real estate. Without the materials, which is land, then there is no any further, we call, elaborations of the whole real estate business. Am I right?
Okay.
So when we come to the land, and whenever you buy materials, you definitely need to buy material with potential. You don't want to buy garbage. Hey, when talking about garbage, you know what? Some company, they buy garbage because garbage can be recycled and then make we call so-called alternative energy, right? However, whenever we come to land, since it is the materials of the whole real estate, the foundations. So how are we going to hit the right spot whenever we come to the land, right? And we all know that all the companies who are involved in lands, they are all big developers, right? They own hundreds, so even millions of acres of land. Right?
Yeah, that's what they start with the land. All the developers, they start accumulating land whenever possible. You know, when they have all the money or income extra money that they make, they have to scout for land. So that's where the mother of land comes in.
Yeah, and in our live talk today, I believe that we don't expect that there will be developers or builders that among in our audiences, right? I doubt it. So I would say that majority of our audience, they are definitely not developers. However,
you never know. You never know. So
well,
in
hopefully.
later time, if I talk to a developer, I say, hey, just look at our video. Mr. Joseph Wu is going to give you some insight of what land. So they might consider, they say, hey, later on, I say, hey, how can you convince a developer, right, Joseph, to acquire this piece of land? And what are the
Right.
benefits and what are the
Maybe.
advantages and disadvantages on a piece of land,
Right. So, Ray, hopefully that we could really sum up with something which I call land investment ABC. Make it so simple.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
Make it so simple. But we all know that maybe guideline wise, yes, we could really do we call land investment ABC. Or maybe ABC is not enough. Should be A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay. But anyway, we could still have the guideline.
Right.
And I would really want to share this, we call the ABC guideline, definitely to all the audiences, to all the people who are interested, right? Maybe they have some capital in their pocket and they also want to involve in this we call real estate material business.
Yes. And
right?
also the real estate agent too, if they are from another company and they're thinking of going into land development or commercial, they could always join us and we always welcome them. And then we have special training, right? And we help each other. We all are partners. So that's why IQI is good about this. So all agents who is out there that is interested in this company, call Joseph or call me, and we do commercial pre-construction, like I said. So which is a good start. So we don't mind helping each other.
Yes, and I believe that Ray, you and me, we all agree that actually the reason that really impressed us to have the decision to join IQI Canada, all because that first, this company is so flexible and they're with lots of good capacity, and besides, the initial our buddies who joined IQI, we are all experienced.
Yes.
Right. So this is a very good start. So that's why if any agents who want to, jump on board and to work with us, and definitely that this will be a big plus.
Oh yes, definitely. And of course, we have a very good incentive for in terms of commission, in terms of partnerships. So everything is there. So we are all ready for new people to come and join us. So
well, I really want to keep talking about this, but if we keep doing that, this is gonna be a recruiting live talk. It's
no. I just want to introduce a little bit because people are looking at us. They're wondering why Joseph and Ray is doing such a thing, right? Just to give an introduction that we actually welcome people to join us, and also we want them to know that we have this kind of experience, knowledge on commercial, on land, on residential. So we are in there for everything. Some company they just do resale. Some company they focus on resale. When you try to go into commercial, they say, sorry, I have no experience. You have to dig it yourself. So and then you'll be struggling, right? So that's a good thing that I have to mention because I've been around. We've been around. I've been in real estate for almost 30 something years, and I know what is out there. And I believe you too, Joseph.
Yes. So whenever we look at the team or IQA that we're in right now, I always look at it as we call a manufacturing chain, right?
Yes.
Like from the material all the way to the finished product. If any company you want to be a big company or a huge enterprise, you have to widespread. You have to spread your arms as wide as possible, not just in the finished products, and also all the way to the source, which is in real estate we call land, right? So let's come back to the land.
Okay,
all right?
that's it.
All right. Okay, so before we talk about this land in Oakville, which is 12.4 acres vacant land, right? Located in a very, very good area, which is the intersections of QEW or 403 and the third line. If anyone who are familiar with this area know that you could see from the screen that we share that not so far, actually probably maybe less than 100 meters away up north, it's all very, very populated area. However,
yeah, and also I noticed that, you know, I'm looking at the map. People usually look, there are a few very interesting golf courses right there. It's a PGA golf courses too, right?
Yeah.
So there's one that's called Deerfield, and the other one is what is that called? I believe is Glen Abbey. Yeah, Glen Abbey used to be a PGA golf course for Golf Canada. So people who play golf, I think you know where is this Glen Abbey, because it's a very famous place. Okay, that's where it's right next to it.
Yeah, the whole area that we just mentioned. I could give give you guys an idea. There's a name called Merton Lands. Okay, and Merton Lands is an area that in Oakville between Dundas, QEW, Bronte, and Third Line. And this area is being defined maybe 20, 30 years ago as we call Parkway Belt West Plan. Or from the zoning wise, actually this land fall into what we call PB1, Parkway Belt 1 zoning. And two golf courses that Ray, you just mentioned. Before, now there are, one of the golf courses is actually already in the process of, construction. That golf course already redeveloped to a mixed use, mainly a residential, low-rise and residential area. Okay, but if we look back years ago, sorry. If we look back years ago, sorry, my daughter just called me from Vancouver. So if we look back years ago, actually before even they became the golf course, they are still in the we call Parkway Belt West Plan, or we call PBWP area. Actually, their zoning is still PB1. However, later on, because of some rezoning, or we call the zoning change, and going through a certain process, then the land's being changed, or we call rezoned to a commercial use, or we call a golf course, right? To be permitted use as a golf course, right? So when come to this, now we have some idea about zoning. Okay.
Yes.
So when come to the
zoning, sorry to interrupt. Sometimes when they talk about zoning, some people are very confused with zoning. You have C zone, you got R1, you got C2, all those. Are they really that complicated?
Actually, it's not that complicated. And besides, if you don't really understand, you just need to Google. Okay, for example, we call LR, right? LR. Whenever you said LR, means definitely it's a residential. But what does L stand for? L means low rise. So it's a low-rise residential. So, but don't be scared away by this definition. So if you happen to have that kind of zoning code, you just need to Google, and you're gonna figure it out. It's not that difficult, and you will understand the definition. Okay, talking about the zoning, where this zoning coming from? Why we need to have zoning in place? When talking about this, we need to have some knowledge about we call the official plan. Official plan. I would like to give guys like definitions of official plan. Official plan is what's official plan is to ensure the city evolves and improves and realize its full potential in the areas such as transit, land use development, and the environment. So whenever we set official plan, actually it's the plan that from all the way from we call provincial, even federal, right? Many different tiers of government, and they have their own idea or plans to urbanize or to see the potential developments in the area, in the city, in the provincial, in the region, something like that. Okay, so official plan kind of become like a guideline, or the words that I used a little bit earlier in this live talk, we call a stipulation. Like means it's a rule. So it's a guideline. So all the developments that happen in this area need to follow their official plan. Okay, and under the official plan, they started to then there's a lot we call if I give a words maybe easier to remember, called zoning plan or zoning definition or zoning map, where you could find that what is the actual zoning code of this land or of this property. Like in most of the residential, we call R1, right? Or R2, R3. Now, R1 is their zoning code. Means that is a single residential house.
Excellent, yes.
Yeah, R2, probably a duplex or semi. And this then it's keep going on like that. So whenever we have this kind of understanding and come to the land, we need to go to the city or go to the government. Definitely, there's lots of websites, we call government websites, that you could Google, you could search according to the address and figure out what is the zoning code. In this 1054 third line Oakville, in this land, after we do the search, do all the zoning search, then we figured out that the zoning code for this land is PB1. And not just this land, that zoning map also give us a very, very broad idea about all other zonings or all other zoning codes that in the neighborhood. Okay, and from all the different zoning, actually could give us a very good idea about we call the tendency of this urbanization. What is the city planning to do in the urbanization? Something like this.
So this is a quick question. For the official plan, can we get access to the official plan if we go to a town of Oakville or city of Oakville?
Yes, absolutely. We are in a democratic country, so all the resources, they are open to the public. You don't need to be able to do all this research with certain license. However, license sometimes help people to equip with sufficient knowledge so they know how to do the research properly. For example, a planner's license would help because of the training, help them to do the this kind of research more accurately and more efficiently and more properly.
Okay. And some of the city I went to, they say unofficial plan. So sometimes they have the unofficial plan. Normally, how long would it take to be officialized? Do they
Okay.
go by 3 years, 5 years, 1 year? How does it work?
Actually, I would say that again that this is a democratic country, so different governments actually they have different situation, right? So maybe in the up north of Ontario, you don't really need to do some official update every 20, 30 years because nothing changed. Remember that 30 years ago when you went up north, exactly the same as 30 years later, right?
Yes,
so this kind of updates make nonsense, useless. So
okay.
so there is not like not a rule. We call a specific rule say, oh, we have to do the update in a certain period of time. But as a reference, that's use Ontario or that's use City of Toronto as a reference, right? Right here, official plans will be reviewed and update every 10 years. So which means that if you lose the opportunity in the first year or the last years, right? Then you have to wait another 10 years until the next, we call official plan update. Then there must be some questions that coming out from all the audience or even Ray. So what happened if I really need to do the update, in this 10 year, can I do that?
Yeah, that's the question. Sometimes you have to go to the OMB, right, to do a minor adjustment on certain properties.
When come to we're talking about the official plan, Ray.
Yeah.
When come to official plan, then we have to do we call official plan amendment. This is a process. That means that we need to apply for the official plan amendment. And whenever you said that, hey, what is the difference between official plan and official plan amendment? We just mentioned about the official plan, which involve in city's whole plan, city's whole development, and city's whole infrastructure, something like this, right?
Yes.
However, when it comes to the official plan, I would like to give everyone here also a definition about the official plan. Okay, when we said official plan amendments, let me give you. So official plan amendment is a formal document that changes a municipality's official plan. Changes may be needed. Listen, this is very important. May be needed because of a new circumstances in a community, or because of the request made by the property owners.
Yes, agreed.
Even it's an official, even official plan amendment still official, but there must be certain reason to see it happen or to try to make it happen, right? So this is why we say that during this 10 years, the official plan itself might not be able to change. However, we could apply for the official plan
minor variant amendment, right?
Yes.
Official plan amendment.
Well, whenever we said minor variance, most likely is to we call the Planning Act, related to the Planning Act. I'll give you an example. Maybe this has nothing to do with the land, but since Ray, you mentioned that when we call minor variance in the city they have we call committee of minor variance, and they are the authority that or committee dealing with anything that probably a little bit conflict. That's why I call minor. A little bit conflict to the Planning Act. For example, if you want to set up a warehouse, or you want to set up an office, or you want to set up for certain reason, such like school, right? And according to your total floor plans, you need to have specific parking ratios. So every 1,000 square feet, you might need to have 5.3 parking spot. Okay, for example, this is for we call medical center, which I have a few times experience. So, however, maybe your parking ratio only 4.8, not 5.3. So that stopped you from using that that property or that office or that building for the medical use. So then the owner or the owner need to, or developer need to we call apply for the minor variance. So to get the approval from, we call the committee of minor variance of city, to change that area specifically from 5.3 to 4.8. That's what we call minor variance. But this is a little bit too far from our land. Let's come back to our land. Let's come back to our land. But you know what? If maybe also in the future, we could talk a little bit more in detail in different area. You see that if this is a manufacturing from material to all the finished products, there are definitely lots of things that we need to deal with, or we need to know, right? So in the future, maybe we could talk a little bit more about that. I would
let's go back to the land.
I would really happy to share. So when come back to what we call the official plan amendment, I just mentioned that official plan, the change may be needed, right? The reason they need to amend because this amendment is needed, or these amendments are needed because of new circumstances in the community, or because of the request made by the property owners. Right?
Understood.
Here's that owners, S, not just owner. Means that when the residents or the property owner in that area, they all feel that, hey, you know what? We want something, we want to see something happen here in this community. However, the current official plan don't really allow it happen. So then we need to come together to appeal, right, to the city or to any authority, maybe provincial, right, to say that, hey, we want to amend the official plan.
Excellent. Yes.
And after the so now we have some idea about official plan, official amendment. However, there's still one thing that we need to know, also have very much to do with official plan and official amendment, which we call secondary plan. I believe that, Ray, you definitely heard that before. What is secondary plan? If we have secondary plan, does that mean we also have primary plan? Right? So now we got an idea. In this case, in our case, what is the primary plan? It's official plan is primary plan, right?
Yes.
So any plan that underneath the official plan, we call secondary plan. Okay, so I would like to give guys definitions of we call the secondary plan. It's very easy. What is secondary plans? Here's that secondary plans apply to areas, where significant redevelopment is expected. I could give you guys a good example. In the future, if we have chance, I really also want to share with everyone about some good example in the city of Toronto or any other city about the secondary plan. So whenever we look at North York area, the Yonge Street of North York area, actually, if you Google, if you do some research, you're going to see lots of secondary plans happen along Yonge Street.
Yes.
And funny thing is that this secondary plan, in the official plan, said you can only your building height can only reach 10 meters. But this secondary plan, they change it because the growth on Yonge Street, right? the populations grows on Yonge Street, the infrastructure, we call the subway being extended even all the way to Vaughan. So this Yonge Street becomes so important. That's why he said significant redevelopment is expected, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's why secondary plans are in place. So in that area, official plan said 10 meters. But whenever you look at the secondary plan, it gives you 100 meter high.
Yeah, excellent. See, for people who doesn't know what Yonge Street in Toronto, Yonge Street is the longest street
in the world.
in the
whole
world.
world.
So it has lots of commercial buildings and all along. So Yonge Street is one of the longest street in the world. You can walk all the way. I don't think you can finish. I think maybe how many kilometers stretch of this Yonge Street is a very long.
If my memory is correct, when you go to the beginning of Yonge Street, which is hitting the lake of Ontario.
Yeah.
It seems to give you is it over 1,000?
I know now it goes all the way
Yeah.
Bloomington and up and everything. Right now, do you see all the streets are all filled with all commercial buildings. So just for general knowledge for people from overseas who is listening. So that's one of we always hang out when my friends come from Malaysia, Singapore, or Hong Kong. I bring them to Yonge Street, so they have to go there.
Yeah, they have to go to the beginning of Yonge Street. Let's come back to the land.
Okay, let's go back to.
All right. So now I think that after we have some of the I call it pre-words or pre-knowledge about the land. So now when we come back to this Oakville lands 1054 third line, and I would say that would be easier for us to see what kind of potentials, what kind of possibilities that this vacant land, 12.4 acres of vacant lands, could possibly be redeveloped. Okay, and actually in this presentation of the lands, I put together all the we call the official materials. Okay, all coming from the governments to support such an opportunities. And actually, all this research that I did based on the knowledge we just shared, or the thing that we just shared earlier, from the official plan all the way to the land use, secondary plan amendments, this and that, and zoning, so and so forth. Okay, and all different kind of maps. All right. So when come to this land, just like not only we need to know what is Merton lands stand for, which I already explained. We also need to know what is the planning the city is being doing, or what kind of planning city has been doing in the past 10, 20 years about the using the lands, about how to develop the lands of the city of we call the town of Oakville, something like this. So this when you see this page, this is excerpt, excerpt from called Merton Planning Study. This is a study that was made by the town of Oakville. So even right now, PB1 in definition, the zoning of this land, we know that it's only for we call the public utilities, which means that this land actually reserved or being defined or being zoned for the use when the highway need to expand, when the road need to expand, when the infrastructures need to expand it, or when we call the servicings need to expand it. It's like a spare land. But after 20 years of developments in that area, in the urban area of Oakville, we know that it's almost fully developed. And those so-called PB zoning lands or the Merton plans or Merton lands haven't been really used for public utility. And it's no longer that necessary. So that's why, but it's a big piece of land. That we call the Merton land is huge. It's huge. So it's really wasting such a big land, especially a vacant land, sitting in the urban area of Oakville. That's why where the merchant planning study, was coming from. They want to see something. City, they want to see something happen. They want to see something to be developed here in this Merton lands. Okay, so luckily this land has also been designated. Okay, so city planning to remove a few pieces of land located in Merton lands from we call the PBWP zoning. We call Parkway Belt West planning. Okay, so which means that in the very near future, but if you ask me, hey, Joseph, when you said in the very near future, what does that mean? If we look at 100-year span, 20 years is in the near future. Okay. So if we look at 10 years, probably 3-4 years as a near future. Am I right? So, and besides, since this need to go through some amendment, remember, we talking about secondary amendment, or we're talking about the official plan. And so it takes time to get approval. And before the government or the city approve you to be rezoned or to be amendment, you need to provide a good planning, a good development planning or redevelopment planning to the city, right? Said what kind of things that I want to do. City would never just give you the rezoning or official plan amendment with no reason. Just check up your price. PP1 probably not that valuable, but whenever we could rezone it to a commercial use, or even we call the residential, high density residential use, just like New York, right at the corner of 401 and Bayview, remember, right? So whenever you change that this 12.4 pieces for acres of land gonna worth 100, maybe a couple of $100 million. So city will never do something just make you rich, the landowner. But city want to see this land being redeveloped. That's why anyone who owns this land, they could file the application. We call the rezoning application with the plan and tell city that what plan as a developer I want to do for this land. And city gonna take it into very serious considerations and also going through some council meeting process to be approved, not just by the planning departments, but also by all the councils, the city councils. Say, hey, everybody vote for that kind of rezoning. And then after some public consultations process, we got it. There's a announcement that this land is going to be used as warehouse. This land is, and the site plan is like this. Lots of terminology, probably you guys got confused. But anyway, we need to go through such a process to tell city what kind of plan that we're going to put in before city think about approving your or our rezoning application.
Okay, so usually this process would take like years, like near future.
Yeah,
like you
it's
mentioned.
very hard to say. It's very hard to say. You know what? I really want to get into too much detail here. See, whenever we come to this kind of dealing with the government, right? Definitely, relationship, not location. When come to real estate, we call location. But come to the land development, we call relationship. You need to have good relationship with the city, right? You need to have good experience, good portfolio to support your application. And also, capital-wise, your confidence need to be, reliable, right? So not just have money or have the title of this land, and sometimes we also need to have some political leverage, or we call political arms. Why? Because eventually we need lobbies, right? Like a lawyer, we need lobbies to help us to lobby all the councillors. You see, politics, right? The councillors to support our decision. Eventually get our rezoning being approved, right? So this is it's not a simple business, right? But you could see that, Ray. You know that when we come to the land developments, all kinds of development projects, where the major profit coming from? Is coming from the land or coming from the construction? You tell me.
Well, again, you're going to see how much the city is going to benefit, especially for the employment, and also they also look at the taxes they're going to collect, right? Once it's developed, taxes is going to pull in. So that's why it all depends on if a land is fully developed. So the city has to have the infrastructure to get everything in.
Yeah. So actually, Ray, you are absolutely right. So which means that when the zoning of the land being rezoned or being changed in this land, for example, from PB1, to we call they call what is that? They call LR, for example. Or we call CR, commercial and residential, or we call C, right? The commercial use. PB1s, you cannot do anything because it's open for public utility. But when rezoning to we call the LR, low-rise residential, this land will be worth like 10 or 20 times more. Am I right?
Yes, agreed.
So that's why city, they don't want to do it without application. If they do that, it's unfair to people who don't own the land. Right? So if you want to make your lands valuable, 10 or 20 times valuable, you need to have some effort. You need to spend some development expenses to hire the planners, to hire the engineering companies to do the environmental, to hire the architecture, to all the designs, and also give a lot of donations to the city, like donation to the park, to the roads, right? Or even to some statue, right? And sometimes, and also you need to pay very, very, we call hefty, the development charge, or we call DC. Every unit you have to spend $50,000, pay $50,000 as the development charge to the city. So if you have 1,000 units, how much money you need to give it to the government, right? So that is not an ordinary, we call ordinary person or individual can really get involved. But can an individual really not be able to involve? No, that's not the case. The reason you cannot involve because you don't have the sufficient knowledge, right? You don't have the sufficient relationship, right? So whenever you build up that kind of knowledge and relationship, any big developers definitely coming from 1 or 2 person. Am I right?
Yes.
It's not 100 people there. So this is pretty fair to every individual. I would say this is also part of the reason that we give this kind of live talk, We want to spread out the knowledge as much as possible. So not just make we call the land development an exclusive privilege to the developers and also to we call the ordinary public. Am I right?
Yes, I agree. That's why, with the land, big piece of land, usually when you acquire, some people say, hey, I want to get a piece of land, Joseph, and I don't know. They say, what am I going to do with the land? But do I have the time to wait for you, like your near future, right? So
Yeah.
like 30 years ago, when I was looking at Steele and Kennedy, it's all field, cornfield. Now you look at it, it goes all the way Markham, Zoom, go up all the way to Uxbridge, all those fields. When I first came to Canada, they are, what is after Steele? That's all cornfield. So
Yeah.
this is what happened. Like, if have I known, I was a student then, and have I known, I'll say, hey, I'll pay $3,000 an acre of land to buy them and just leave it. But by now I'll be so rich that things are so different. But again, it's the knowledge of what you intend to do.
You are absolutely right, Ray. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. So if we would have we would have had this live talk back to 30 years ago, and you were one of the audience. Now you are a multi-billionaire.
Oh yes, yes.
Okay.
That's what happened when a farmer. Now farmer, they all retire with
Yep.
hundred millions of dollars because they own a few, like
Right.
100 acres of land, and 100 acres back then was nothing.
Yeah.
Every farmer have one piece of parcel of land is at least 100 acres.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. So when that's come back to this Oakville land.
Okay, let's go
When,
back.
everyone see that the screen that we share. Actually, this is we call the urban area of town of Oakville.
Okay.
It's urban area. And what
Right.
is the urban area? When it comes to the urban area, we also need to know a little bit about the definition of the urban area. You see that when people who are interested in land banking, they also need to know this part, which is very important. We call urban area, or there must be somebody heard that before, called settlement area.
Right.
We must have heard settlement area, rural area, right? And
Yeah.
urban area. Okay, this is the definition about urban area. What is the urban area? The definition of urban area here's that it's a human settlements with a high population density and infrastructure of built environment. So which means that this 12.4 acres land actually sit on a very populated area. So does it ring the bell? If you have a 12.4 acres in downtown Toronto, you will be 100 billionaire.
Yeah.
Right? Am I right?
Trillion. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to know first that actually click, rings the bell. Hey, this 12.4 acres land sit in the urban area. Urban area defined, it's a high population area. And there's another equivalent words, or we call synonym. It's also called built out area, BUILT, means being built already. We call built out area. Like, City of Toronto, City of Markham, City of, Richmond Hill. We all call built out area, or we call the urban area. Same thing. So urban area is always expensive. Am I right?
Yes, because it's scarce, very scarce for land.
Yeah,
so
12.4 acres land. If you could buy at 8 million in an urban area, tell me, is that expensive?
if for in the urban area, I think is considerably not expensive.
Inexpensive. It's very, very inexpensive. Since 8 million, probably in the urban area, Oakville, you can only buy around like 1 acre's land. Right? Maybe 1 acre's land you couldn't still afford. You see that all the detached houses in urban area of Oakville right now worth almost 2 million. And only occupies 1/10 of an acre. Right? So you need to pay 5 million for 1 acre's buildable land in urban area. Okay. I'm not soliciting here. Okay.
Yeah, I know, but Joseph is still, because it's zone PB1, there might more other expenses involved too.
Right.
Just to be
also
realistic.
time.
Right.
Also time periods.
Yes, but again, now it can be zone. You can have
rezone it.
Yeah, rezone it for residential. Some people they can work on it and see, how fast or how prudent that you can work with a lawyer or architect or planners to get it all done, right? So again, once it's already zone urban, so its density is high and it is good possible.
You know what? I always encourage. I always use this when I told people to do something creative. Okay, I said being an adventurer. Okay, either you make fortunes or you become
broke,
homeless.
Okay.
Okay. So, however, daring. You see, all the developers definitely they're not born to be a developers. Do you think that they always successful during the whole establishment? No, they must fail and fail and fail. Eventually, they pick up the knowledge. They build up the relationship, right? And also they establish the scale, eventually become humongous developers, right? So the same thing, everything is possible. Possibility coming from impossibility. Am I right?
Yes.
If there's so that's why, what is impossible? If you detach, impossible means I'm possible. Right? So if you are possible, you have to disintegrate the impossible to be I am possible.
Okay, that's a good one. Excellent.
Okay. Now let's come back a little bit. Okay, to this land. So after we know the urban area, then I would really like to share with you guys about what is the other area called, we just mentioned about the urban area. This is 3 definitions of different areas. So that's I actually share with a screen to explain to you what is urban area, or we call built up area, or designated green fields. In another word, we call settlement area. Actually, the next slide of the here. No, just past. Going down. Going down, going up. Settlement area. Yeah, here. Okay, you see that on the left we call rural area, agriculture area. Remember, you just mentioned 30 years ago, all the landscape along Yonge Street we call urban agriculture area. Am I right? You only see cornfield.
Yes.
That's why Ontario is famous for corn bread. because corn everywhere, right?
Well,
Everywhere.
now it's hard to get corn.
Yes.
You try to get, you can't get it anymore. Or they all cut out the corn.
So the agriculture, we call rural agriculture area or rural land, is the most inexpensive land, right? However, along with the city's official plan amendments, secondary plans, this plan and that plan, and that some majority of the area along Yonge Street turned to be settlement area. Settlement means that humans or populations are more than welcome to fit in, right? More than welcome to fit in means not fit in yet, but to be. So then the values become higher. So if we could figure out a vacant land, or we call developable land, located in the settlement area, which is the purple area in the middle in this drawing, I would say that it's already a very, very successful investment, right?
Right.
And then we go to we go to the further right, called build-up area. What is build-up area? Build-up area is just exactly what we just said, urban area. So this Oakville land, not sitting on the rural land, not sitting on the settlement area, but sitting in the build-up, or we call urban area. So does that mean that this land should worth way, way higher or more valuable than settlement and also rural? And also give way better chance, or we call probabilities or opportunities to be rezoned, right? So now we are looking at the potential of this land. Okay, potential means everything would be possible if I am possible, right? Everything is possible, right? If you do not dare to challenge, to file the applications of rezoning, to give some of the designs of your plan of we call your plans of redeveloping this 12.4 acres, right? Of course, you go nowhere. Your land gonna sit in the PB1 zoning maybe for the next 10, 20 years. So main change everything. That's why developers, they are changed the whole city landscapes. Agree or not?
Right.
Right? Okay, so if that's the case, I would say that we still need to mention one thing, and I believe probably our time it's almost there. I would like to also talk about same in the Merton areas. What areas used to be in the PB1 zoning now being developed? Okay.
Yeah.
Which
so that's the same PB1 area, right?
Yes.
That already been built up.
Yeah, they
That's
rezoned. They rezoned to be a low-rise residential. Okay. With mixed with some of the commercial.
So that means the same area can also build up for a low rise.
I would prefer to use could possibly.
Okay.
Could possibly, right? Could possibly be used or being redeveloped to a different land use. Okay, different land use, and which is let me see the page number 11. Next page. Okay, the number 11. This is called. See that this zoning is PB1, but in this Merton area, we call Merton lands. You see that some lands already been redeveloped to residential, low rise. On the right, upper right corner, and also the left, the left corner, left side. Left side is a lawn we call Bronte. If anyone familiar with, Oakville, 5 years ago, nobody wanted Bronte. 5 years later, everyone wants Bronte. Right? So that's how the whole demographic change that actually happening. So you can see that the highlight lands in red, it's we call the 1054 third line, and you see that on the left side, those developed area actually was PB1 before, but they've been rezoned. And go to the next one to have some comparison. If we compare these two, I actually overlap a city planning we call a project already. They call Bronte Corporation or Bronte Green Corporation project. It's a developer who developed that, and since 2015, and their construction actually kicked off back in 2018. Right? So you can see that how much they bought the land. It's over 100 acres. How much they bought the land before, even when it was PB1 or a golf course. Right? Maybe 8-10 million is big deal. Am I right? You know that if you go back to 10 years ago, what would be the value of a 18 holes golf course? Maybe 5 million, right?
Right.
But then it's over 100 acres land. And right now they're doing low rise. And you tell me, per acres, the land value right now is 4 million.
Yes,
okay.
That's why it's
just
comparable
1 acre
is really
4
high.
million. Yeah, their developable area is over 100 acres. Do the math. I don't even know how many zero behind it. Right?
Yes.
So would that be possible? The same process could also happen in this 12.4 acres land? If you dare, you dare. Right? If you dare not, you are not there. So I would say that, of course, not just have this kind of knowledge, we also need to know something about from the city. That will be the next page about the floodplain. In Ontario, government, they call 100 years floodplain. If any redevelopment fall into this 100 years floodplain, they will never be able to be redeveloped. You don't want to see that one day that half of the building being buried by flood water, right? So we also need to know, and this is also open. So when you go to Google, you could also find a flood plan, and to know more about your location and the status of your location flood-wise in this flood plan, or we call flood map. Okay, just a little bit. This is a little bit too much, okay, for the ordinary audience. But since we talk about land, we need to have that kind of concept. The next one we call contour. Contour map. Everybody know that contour map means their elevation. So from this contour map, it's also, you could Google from the city, from the government, and you're gonna know that what kind of contour that happened to your lands. And you know that this has very much to do with the future redevelopment. And it's about how much to do with the future redevelopment. It takes some time to explain to everyone, but I just want to throw you guys just an idea. You just know that, hey, this is a concept. I need to know about the flood plan. I need to know about the contour plan, right? And of course, the next one is I definitely need to have a survey to know the boundary of this 12.4 acres land. Okay, so I don't know that Ray or the audience who get to listen to this live talk, are you ready to put up an offer for this 12.4 acres land? Looks like that this 12.4 acres land, actually it's very, very potential.
Yeah,
right?
with the location, you can see it's next to the highway and very good potential for a plaza or mixed use, you know,
Yes.
that you can have high rises and then with commercial, another city by another town or city by itself where you can have commercial on the main and then
Yeah.
residential up because of the easy access with the location and again is zone ready to go, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think this is a very good potential for
Yeah.
any
So I would like
investors.
to finish up, so much talk from me. Okay.
Okay,
That I also saying that I use the same word. I said, dare you, dare you. Okay. Means you
okay.
dare, you dare. So when it comes to the land investments, okay, or we call the land banking, this is a very good principle that I recommend all the investors to adopt. And of course, whenever you dare, you better get somebody to escort you to dare. Okay,
Yes,
don't just
yes,
dare alone.
yes.
Okay.
I figure because again, when you buy a piece of land, it'll be sitting there for ages, right? You don't know. Maybe if you're lucky, in 5 to 10 years, all of a sudden, hey, a highway is going to cut through, or the government has certain planning or whatever. That's what happened in rural
Yeah. Yeah.
area,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, the federal planning or the city planning might come into it. But again, takes a lot of time and also luck too, right? You can say, hey, I'm buying this piece of land for my grandchild. You might not be able to see it develop, right? Again, things could change because of the density. People are moving into Toronto. Imagine with all the new immigrant coming
Sea
from
has been
overseas.
expanding like crazy.
Yes, yes. So that's why you look at the green belt. We look at the green belt. We cannot touch it. The federal government say, "Hey, this is a green belt zone, and nobody can touch it." And they have to move north of the green belt. So because nobody can touch it, so that's why it goes up to Barrie, and people are still building new homes. So
Right.
anyway,
Right.
because of time restraint, we thank you, Joseph, for giving this live talk and telling us about uh, this land deal, how we can get it done together, and people who are interested in investing, please call us. You have seen that there's a running bar down there with our numbers, so you can call Joseph directly, or you can call me or call IQI Company. We'll be there to help you. All right. So
Okay.
thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you
you,
for having
Joseph.
me. So hopefully that we could talk about that, about the commercial real estate, shortly.
Okay, sure.
Okay. In
Okay,
a different
bye.
program. Okay.
Yes,
Bye.
bye for now.
Bye.